So look, this might all actually be coming together. It might all actually be happening. Our hopes and dreams to be realized after new information, concrete information, comes out of factories giving us the details on Nintendo, where they're at in the process, and then a leaker giving us the nail in the coffin, I'd say, which is the discussion we've been having for about a week now, this really reduced announce to launch cycle. Seems like it's happening. So good morning, Mario, and good morning, Switch fans. This is huge news, and it's news, okay? It's not a rumor, it's not a leak. This comes directly from a factory source who we know is partnered with Nintendo, and they're giving very direct information, and we can trace and track it. It makes perfect sense. Before we get there, I did want to let you know a couple of interesting things. We've got Power Rangers undelaying itself on Nintendo Switch. It was supposed to come out, Rita's Revenge, a week later on Switch, and they said, no, we'll make it work on the launch date for everyone. I think that's December 10th for now every platform. This is basically looking like kind of everything we got out of Shredder's Revenge, but now for the Power Rangers franchise. Gosh, that was like one of the favorite games I played with my brother, my youngest brother. My middle brother and me, like, we'll play more like intense games, I guess, but my youngest brother, he's not as big of a game player, and he'll only kind of jump in if it's something a little bit more low-key, and we had so much fun with Shredder's Revenge, so I'm really excited for Rita's Revenge, Rita's Rewind? Shredder's Revenge, Rita's Rewind. Rita's Revenge, Rita's Rewind. Revenge of Shredder and Rita getting married together and having a baby that is a Power Ranger TMNT offspring Psycho Child. Anyhow, that game is undelayed, which is very cool. And also, Tales of Iron 2, which I'm very excited for, was bumped up a week into January of 2025 from February of 2025. So games getting undelayed is really freaking cool. We've got reports that the Game Awards are supposed to be actually super hyped this year. Andy Robinson of VGC says that, hey, the Game Awards, like, start the hype train. He knows, not guessing, he knows that the show is going to be huge with awesome announcements. I don't know if any of those will pertain to Nintendo, but it should still be a fun show to watch together next Thursday. But I do know this, and it does pertain to Nintendo. So let me know in the comments down below how you feel about Foxconn putting forth their earnings, their revenue. Now, this might sound like, oh, here we go, grasping at straws, but no. Look how this all connects together, okay? Foxconn's parent company, this is Foxconn Tech. All right, they are the big parent of Foxconn Group, and their November operating revenue is really, really big. It is really, really big. This is the highest monthly revenue since October of 2021 for the manufacturer. It is 74% up month over month and a whopping 223% year over year increase. That is freaking crazy. Now, this is all tied to the assembly of Switch 2. And we've been in discussion about, like, how far along are they in the process? Have they started mass assembly? Have they just begun assembly? But this is the interesting detail. And this was provided by an insider named Forwards Backwards on Famaboards. And they have a very interesting insight, all right? They show that Foxconn does not recognize revenue until the asset is transferred to the customer. Revenue is recognized when products are delivered to the customer. At this point, the customer has full control over the price and sales channel of the products. Delivery is considered complete when the products are sent to the location specified by the customer. So basically, nothing else is to be done. Nothing else is to be done with these manufactured switches that Foxconn is receiving revenue for. They do not count the revenue in their financial reports until the process is complete, which has Forward Backwards concluding that as of November, Nintendo has already received tons of Nintendo Switch 2 units completely assembled, in box, ready to go. That is crazy. That is crazy because look, if Nintendo already has thousands of Switch 2s in boxes, in their packaging, on shelves, just ready to be shipped out, we are close. We are close, and I don't believe we are getting a January announce and a summer launch. That's not what's happening if mass production is already well underway, if there are already Switch 2s fully assembled boxes there. And look, it makes sense. Like, Nintendo does not have to educate the customer on anything, especially if it's called Switch 2. It's an upgraded Switch. It's called Switch 2. How much easier does it get than that? This would be a whirlwind, take the industry by storm, way to just seize 2025, grab it by the neck, and say, you're coming with me. It's a little bit aggressive for Nintendo, but, you know, picture Mario instead grabbing a Goomba. Nintendo announces this thing in January, launches this thing in March. They have a very condensed cycle, and they can do so because assembly has begun mass production-wise. Boxes are ready to go, and they are well into the process of getting ready for a launch. Not just beginning, but well into. And it's something we've questioned because we assumed, hey, Leaks would get out there once they were well into production, but maybe Nintendo just locked this stuff down. Maybe they just locked it down so well. I don't know what methodology they used. Ninjas were probably involved. But Nintendo seems to have locked this down to the point that they can start mass production and have a literal packaged box on a shelf in some warehouse ready to be shipped to retailers. And yet, nobody knows. Nobody knows much of anything. We know it's backwards compatible thanks to them. We have an idea about the chipset thanks to shipping manifestos and reports. We kind of know, about the Joy-Con and the magnetic stuff, but we don't have full details of anything. We don't know what games are coming. We don't know the color of the system. We know nada. But they are prepping for a very distinct and different kind of launch, and you can't deny this. This can't be spun any other way. Nintendo isn't saving these boxes because there's a shortage of cardboard. Nintendo isn't getting these ready because they plan on having a really, really crazy Christmas and then, taking a few weeks off. Nintendo is doing this because of an expedited, shortened cycle between announce and launch than what anybody else has maybe ever done. Now, let me bring in the counterpoint here because I know someone's going to have already said it in the comments. Nate Drake, a leaker who I respect very much, posted a podcast today discussing somewhat of a similar scenario, but with a much more stretched timeline. He said he's heard that there will be a Switch launch reveal event in January, late January, early February, and then the system itself will not launch, he thinks, until May or June. Thinks versus Foxconn's actual revenue reports and their standards for when they report revenue. So if you're looking for me to tell you which I believe, I think it's pretty obvious. One is someone's guesstimate, and one is based on factual data from a manufacturer of the Nintendo Switch 2. I'm going to lead with that one every single time, and it's what I'm going to absolutely trust. I don't think Nate Drake is necessarily wrong, and I do think the Switch 2 will be revealed in January or February, but I don't think it's going to take from then till June to launch this system. April, I think maybe, but I think March is in the cards. I really do think this is going to surprise people and be one of those stunner moments where Nintendo says, hey, we're going to approach this a bit differently. You've been waiting for the Switch 2 long enough. We know the hype is there. We know you're tired of the Switch 1 graphics. We know you're ready. Boom, here's your new system. You can buy it in 2 months. What does the extra month or two give them? Time to build up production. But look what Foxconn is telling us here. We know Nintendo is well along in that process. They gave Foxconn a ton of money in November because something was complete. Something was complete. And unless Nintendo is manufacturing the Vitality Sensor 2.0, this is the Switch 2, and this is Nintendo prepping for launch. There is no reason, unless you A, need to market something extensively and teach the consumer about what it is, or B, you need to get the stockpile ready. Nintendo said, hey, we're going to have plenty of stock. Scalpers aren't going to be much of an issue this time. We're going to combat it by just pouring and flooding the channels with as many systems as we can. And one of the ways to do that would be to have a bunch of them already ready in your warehouse, ready to go. I don't know how Nintendo has done it so silently, but one could maybe guess that perhaps some of those different leaks that we've seen about, the blurry video of the controllers, the button on the back of the Joy-Con, the size of the screen, maybe that is what's leaking. Maybe we don't have a full, beautiful, gorgeous 4K image of the system, but maybe some of these recent leaks are in fact tied to the November completion of this Foxconn order. I think it does make sense, and I don't see why Nintendo would delay and wait if they don't need to. The earlier you put the system out, the more leeway you have and time you have to build towards an awesome holiday season and to release more and more first-party games. If this system is ready to go, it will launch as soon as they can. Whatever they deem the shortest amount of time possible, Nintendo will do it. They don't have to educate the audience, and they don't need to build up a stockpile. They can launch this thing immediately. The hype is there, the desire is there, the holidays will be over, and Nintendo can show this thing off in January, and then they can launch it in March. Remember, Nintendo did indeed announce the Switch 1 back in 2016, and then yes, they did launch it in March of 2017. But their actual big system blowout was in January, and then the launch was in March, so is it really that much different? The first trailer merely conveyed the idea of Nintendo Switch to the masses. We already have that idea well baked into our brains, and we've been loving it for 7+ years. Do we really need that same type of teaser to teach us what the Switch 2 is? We don't. So just circumvent that step. Nintendo operated on a January to March timeline last cycle. They can do the same again. It's really not that much different. Everyone's going to tell you this is unprecedented. It hasn't been done before. They announced it in October, then they revealed it more in January, and then they actually launched it in March, and that's a big 5-month cycle. It's not really how it went. They showed us rooftops and ideas. They showed us parks and they showed us people's Mario parties, but not Mario Party. It was a Mario in some sort of South American town party. Nobody knew what it was. They didn't even tell us the name of the game or if it was a tech demo or what it actually was going to be for. That trailer was something, but it really wasn't a ton. And again, I feel like that was more about teaching the audience, hi Bubba, more teaching the audience what the Switch was versus actually marketing the Switch. Everyone knows the Switch is great. Everyone wants the Switch too. Mark my words, Bowser. January reveal, March launch. I think this Foxconn report is going to be, what do they call that? Not the flaming chicken. What is it called, Bowser? It's like, you know, it's the thing that like, it's the thing that, you know, you look back and you're like, that was the, I want to say like the shining, the sparking, the blinking, the burning. You know what I mean? It's on the tip of my tongue. It's like the thing that like is like sort of it's like the whistleblower basically. This is what's going to tell us exactly how this is going down. I think this is what's going to happen. I'm very, very excited for that because that means 4 months we're playing Switch 2. 4 months we're playing 3D Mario. 4 months we're playing 4K Nintendo games. And holy freaking crap, I can count to 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. I can wait. 6, 7, 8, 9. Gosh, please don't do it to me. But a 4-month wait, March 2025 being our redemption, our glory. This is happening. This is happening. Mark my words. Other people can say different. Nate Drake might have a different opinion. You're probably going to hear other people say, no, I think it's more of a May, June. I don't think Nintendo has any need or desire to wait that long. And I don't think there's any indication or past precedent that May, June is a better time to launch a piece of hardware than March. Because what launched in March? Just the Switch one. Let me know your take in the comments down below. I'm about to sneeze, so I'm going to wrap this up real quick. Thank you so much for watching. I appreciate you all very much. Stay safe, stay healthy, stay happy, stay positive out there. And until next time, love you lots. SwitchForce out.